What's going on, Slay Baes? It's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a collection overview of the brand new ABH spring collection, which I know the internet is gagging over because the Riviera palette that they dropped, like y'all, it is so incredibly beautiful. This is it right here. I do get PR sent to me from ABH, so shout out to ABH for sending this my way. But you guys already know the drill. It does not affect how I truly feel about products. So if I don't like it, I'm gonna say, unfortunately, I didn't like it. If I do love it, I'm gonna let you guys know I love it. Either way it goes, I'm gonna spill the tea and give you guys all the deets. I also have some loose highlighters over here, including one of their most iconic shades, So Hollywood, and a dewy set mist. So if you guys are ready to hear my thoughts, make sure you guys subscribe because it is free. Click that bell so that way you guys are notified every time I upload, which is every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 times a week, every single week. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Let's go. Before I begin with eyeshadow application, I'm gonna give you guys some deets on the palette. So first and foremost, this is what it looks like. It definitely is a canvas material. So the material is completely different than the material that we see on Subculture, Modern Renaissance, Soft Glam, Prism. I really like this material. Honestly, the packaging on its own, it screams, take me to the beach. Let's go on a yacht. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited to kind of dive in. When you open it up, it does come with the standard mirror that comes with a lot of ABH eyeshadow palettes. We also have the eyeshadows. So the eyeshadows are a mixture between pressed pigments, shimmers, and also mattes, which is something I really, really like. Now, what really stands out to me within this palette is that it incorporates some, neutral shades that you could use if you wanted to create a more subtle look, but it also incorporates some really bright, vibrant pops of color, which is what we've all been asking for in the beauty community. The overall layout of this palette is no different than a lot of their other palettes. You do get a standard 14 eyeshadows, and it also comes with a dual-ended brush, one side for blending and one side for packing on color. I really do like this brush. The only thing I will say is that I kind of wish the bristles on the blending side were a little bit softer. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like jabbing myself in the eye with it, but I'm definitely going to incorporate this in the eyeshadow tutorial just to show you guys how universal this brush is. But I'm also going to incorporate my own blending brushes because y'all know I'm super picky when it comes to my blending brushes. I tend to use these same brushes over and over and over again, and I really never deviate from my set blending brushes. Keep in mind, I do have videos dedicated to blending, so if you guys want a little bit more detail as to what brushes I like to use and why, definitely check out those videos. I'll have them listed right up here in the cards and also down below in the description box. I will be using more of like a dry base primer. I'm gonna use this one right here by Morphe. Now, I remember using this for the first time and I was like, it makes my eyelids age like 50 years. And while it does do that, it gets the job done. It primes the eyelids and it does not make your eyeshadows patchy, and they do not skip. So you can either use something like this, or you can use Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, or you can even use MAC Painterly Paint Pot. If you guys watched my last video where I reviewed the Morphe 35G palette, then you would know my hate-love relationship with using concealer to prime the eyelids. Sometimes it goes really, really well, or sometimes it goes really, really bad. So from now on, whenever I do eyeshadow reviews, I will be using more of a dry base primer because nothing's gonna work better than using a product that is literally formulated to prime the lid. So again, I will be using this one from Morphe, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and pop it all over the lids. So the first shade I'm going to take from the palette is called Estate, and I am going to use that fluffy brush that came from within the palette, and I'm going to use this as my transitional shade. All right, so that definitely blended very, very nicely into the crease. It definitely pulls a little bit more of like a peachy brown. I also want to note that I did get a little bit of kickback in the pan, but nothing too crazy. I'm now gonna switch brushes to an M507 and go in with the shade called Bahamas, which is that really vibrant hot pink shade. And I'm gonna rock this into my crease and only my crease and really try to get a nice blend. So I'm gonna take it from outer to inner corner. And the reason I'm using a brush like this is because it's super small and precise, so it really allows me to place the color where I want it and also do a really nice blend by taking my brush and going in small circular motions. I'm going to switch over to an M441 to get a better blend right here in the crease. I'm now going to switch over to the purple in the palette called Canes, and I'm going to use that packing side of the ABH brush that came within the palette, and I'm just going to pack it right here on the very outer V of the lid. And this right here is a really beautiful soft purple shade. Like, it is stunning. And then with the blending side on the brush, I'm just going to blend that purple into the pink without taking it above the pink. So I really just want to keep it in the crease, but not above that pink. I just really want the two shades to melt together. And this is a very, very soft purple. It's nothing too dark, nothing too deep, which isn't too shabby. I wish it was a little bit deeper, but I could vibe with it. Like, I could really work with it. And I did switch over to an M507 just so that way I could really work this purple into the pink and give it more of a softer, seamless blend. Just gonna touch up the pink a little bit by taking a little bit of the shade Bahamas and bringing it up a little bit in the crease. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna go in and carve out a little bit of lid space. And to do that, I'm using the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer in an ABH number 18 brush. And I'm just gonna go ahead and take my brush and just kind of pat these areas down so that way they're not overly sticky and they're nice and even. I'm now gonna pick up the shade called Sails, which is a matte white in the palette, and I'm gonna pat it right here in the very inner part of the look. I'm getting a little bit of fallout with the shadow. It's kind of powdery, I'm not gonna lie. The next shade I'm going to pick up from within the palette is called Mediterranean, which is more of a pressed pigment, and it is such a beautiful light blue shade. I am going to spritz my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus because it is a pressed pigment, and I noticed that pressed pigments go on a lot better when you spritz the brush with a little bit of Fix Plus. So I'm going to just pat this right here in the center. So what I'm going to do to blend the white in with the blue is I'm going to wipe that brush clean, and I'm going to go in with a clean brush, and I'm just going to start patting the shimmer side to side and blending it in with the white, just so that way it's not such a harsh, stark transition. So I went ahead and did a little bit of cleanup underneath my eyes. I was getting a little bit of fallout. Also, I do have watery eye syndrome, which is why there's like a patch of eyeshadow missing right there, but I'm hoping I can kind of cover it up with some eyeliner of some sort. I'm going to dip outside of the Riviera palette into the Jaclyn Hill palette and pick up the shade called Enlight and use that as my brow bone highlight. Y'all know this is like my favorite brow bone highlight, so I had to do it to you. And honestly, applying a brow bone highlight really just helps me with blending. If I brought my shadow up a little bit too high, this helps me kind of just bring it down a little bit. So I like to just pop it right under here, and then I'll take my brush and just move it back and forth, side to side, to really just bring down that shadow. I'm now going to pick up a little bit of Coastline and just blend it directly over top of that hot pink and purple to give me more of a kind of sunset look. Now Coastline is more of like a popsicle orange shade, and it's so freaking stunning and pretty. And I really, really hate to do this to you guys, but I'm not really feeling the white in the very inner corner. So I'm going to switch that to a yellow called Inheritance from the palette. This is a really beautiful like foiled gold, and I'm gonna take this and just pop it directly over top. So I'm loving that so much better. Like, it really just makes the look stand out and pop, which is exactly what I'm going for. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with gel liner. I'm going to use this one by ABH. This is their waterproof cream color in jet. And the reason I'm using this one over my typical Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner in the shade Black is Black is because this one is waterproof. And as you can see, my eyes are kind of watering right here in the very inner corner. So my thought process, I'm going to dry them down with like a paper towel and then put this directly over top. So that way the gel liner doesn't separate. By the way, you guys, the brush I'm using to do my wing liner is a MAC 210. The wing liner definitely covered up the area of my eye that was definitely getting watery and patchy. So I'm going to do the same thing to this eye, pop on falsies, and then I'll be right back and we'll finish off with the lower lash line. I am back. I went ahead and finished off the rest of my face. I did wing liner while I finished off the other wing, and then I popped on falsies. I did use these by Lily Lashes. These are in the style Caramel. Let me just say, love, love, love these lashes whenever I'm doing more of like a dramatic cat eye wing, and I can just... Anyways, I'm not going to do that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to finish off the very lower lash line with you guys. So I'm going to take a flat definer brush right here. This is just a Morphe M432, and I'm going to take the shade called Coastline, and I'm going to push this right here closest to my lower lash line. If you guys are interested in any of the products I use in today's video, like my face makeup, definitely check out the description box because I will have everything linked down below. Now I do have like a little bit of a watery eye syndrome right there, but we're just gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it rolling because we don't have time for watery eyes today. Like, if you guys get watery eyes, let me know, and let me know what you guys do to make it stop. Then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the shade called Bahamas, and I'm gonna push this closest to the lash line. So one color from within the palette that I didn't use that I really wanted to use was this teal right here. You guys, this teal is unreal. It is so beautiful, but to bring the teal into the look, I am going to use a teal liner in my waterline. This one is by Urban Decay, and it's in the shade Deep End. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop this in here to get more of a colorful look going. You know what? I actually ended up taking that eyeliner and just kind of buffing it all the way on my lower lash line to add a subtle pop of color. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of that teal from the palette and just, you know, stamp it directly over top. Then I'm going to smudge a little bit of Bahamas underneath and Coastline just to melt all the colors together. I went ahead and popped on a little bit of lower lash mascara, and this right here is the final and completed eye look. I know by using as many colors as I possibly could doesn't make this look as wearable as a lot of you guys may have hoped, but it's a colorful palette. I really just wanted to experiment, so let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. It's now time to get into the actual highlighters, but before I do that, I definitely want to do my post notification shout out of the day, and I want to give a huge shout out to Miss Katina. She says, "Yay, I just got home. Please never change your intro because I sing it with you every single week. Hashtag notification squad, hashtag slaveys." I'm so glad you like my intro. Some people think it's corny, but I personally really like it, and you guys love it as well. So trust me when I tell you, it's not going anywhere. Now, if you guys want to be my post notification shout out next week, all you have to do is leave me a comment down below with the hashtag slaveys and click that bell to turn on your post notifications. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the loose highlighters. They did launch a total of 3 loose highlighters, which I have right here. I'm going to throw some swatches up on the screen. The first one is Snowflake. Then we have the iconic shade So Hollywood in loose highlighter form. And last but not least, we have the shade called Sunset Aura, which is going to be perfect for those of you guys who have deeper skin complexions. Now, these highlighters do retail for $25, which I think is an amazing steal. Personally, I don't see anyone ever going through an entire jar of like a loose highlighter in my personal opinion. The shade that's going to match me the absolute best is So Hollywood. I love So Hollywood. It's absolutely stunning. And I also want to note that the packaging on these loose highlighters are insanely beautiful. It has a glitter cap, but it is glazed over, so it's not going to rub off on your hand or anything like that. It has a protectant right here, which I am going to take off if I can with these nails. I have very short nails right now. Ooh, that sound, that noise, so satisfying. I will definitely say that the highlighter looks a lot deeper in the pan, but I'm going to take an A23 highlighter brush by Anastasia and pop it right here. For my lips, I'm going to keep it super simple and nude, and I'm going to use this. This is Sueño de Coco. I've been using this a lot. It is a collaboration with ColourPop and I Love Sere E, and it is an ultra matte lip, so it's not going to smudge or transfer or anything like that. The last ABH product I have to test out is the Dewy Set Setting Spray. You guys, I'm all about this. I took it out of the packaging, and at first I was a little bit alarmed because I thought that the setting spray had glitter in it, because it does have a glitter packaging, but that's just the packaging. The actual product inside is not filled with shimmer or glitter. Now, this definitely reminds me of the packaging of MAC Fix Plus, except the nozzle on the ABH one is a little bit bigger, whereas the one on the MAC one is a little bit slimmer. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to give it a go and try it out. So let me get it going. Ooh, that's actually a bigger spray. I don't know if you guys can tell much, but this is a spray from the MAC one. It's like very, very straight on, whereas this one is the one from ABH, and it sprays like all the way out. So it's like gonna cover your whole face. Like, take a peek.
Got it!
You probably can't tell on camera, but I could definitely tell in person. And this smells like coconut and vanilla like mixed together, and I'm all about that. So, ooh. And just like that, you guys, this is the final and completed look. What do you guys think of it? Let me know down below in the comments. I will definitely say I really like how the look came out. Do I think it's wearable? Do I think it's appropriate for day-to-day? Probably not. I feel like I feel my best and most confident whenever I'm wearing colors that suit me personally. And I don't feel like a bright eye is something that I would personally wear day-to-day. I'm more of kind of like a neutral kind of smoky girl kind of look. But I know a lot of you guys out there do like colors, so if you guys like color or want to experiment with color, I definitely feel like this is a pretty good palette to pick up, just because you do have a mixture between a lot of really beautiful shades. However, I did have some issues with this palette, and I do just want to point out the purple shade called Canes. I felt like this purple was very difficult to work with. If I put on a little bit too much, it became patchy, and it didn't really want to blend out, and I can definitely say that very confidently because I did experiment with this palette a few days ago, and I will say I had the hardest time blending out the shadow. I will actually insert a clip here so that way you guys can get a feel for what I was talking about. It's almost like it became like a little bit patchy, and then I tried to apply concealer over top, and it really just wasn't a good mix. So definitely be careful with that shade, because your look can go from looking very fire to like, holy crap, what happened in like 2.5 seconds. And you guys know I'm always honest with you guys, so I definitely wanted you guys to be well aware of the Cane shadow. If you apply way too much, or if you go in with it a certain way, it can get a little bit wonky. But besides that, I do like all of the other colors within the palette. The Dewy Set Setting Spray, it smells amazing. I love the mixture between vanilla and coconut. As for the loose highlighters, I mean, they're okay. Don't get me wrong, So Hollywood is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's a staple shade for ABH, but if you already own the press version, do I think you guys need to run out and go get the loose version? Absolutely not. They're pretty much the same color, just in a different press form. This one's loose, the other one is pressed, so take your pick. If you already own it, don't go out and pick this one up, but nonetheless, the loose highlighters are absolutely stunning. I don't find them to be more blinding than that of their press highlighters though, and that's just me personally, so it's all about preference. With that, I don't have much else to say except I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you guys feel about any of the products down below in the comments. Let's start a conversation. Y'all already know, and I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.